Live.
Be live from the 315. Euro, since we're here and we're waiting for the show to start, you should check out Little Durk's album. It just came out yesterday.
Yeah. I've been playing that Ahaha back to back though. So I feel like you got me kind of like confused, not confused, but like twisted. Like I said, I don't listen to Durk. I'll be listening to Durk. I just like his older stuff better.
I do too, but I feel like his new stuff, it's hard to find a song to not like, in my opinion.
And what I said was, I don't think his solo stuff can hold a candle to any of the stuff that he has a feature on or that he's featured on.
Yeah, I feel like his verses are just like constantly better than everybody else's. I feel like the same with Lil Baby. Like it's hard for me to find a bad verse with him.
Yeah. Lil Baby goes, and I mean, that's not to say that I think he has bad verses. I feel like it's almost like that T-Pain effect, how, or like Ty Dolla $ign. Them by themselves, it's like, I mean, it's cool, but if they feature somebody, it's like a whole nother level. So that's how I feel about Durk.
Who is better out of? I mean, we can have that conversation on PC music, but we need to think about that out of Ty Dolla and T-Pain.
Oh, come on. That's not even
all time.
Ty Dolla,
all time's kind of disgusting, but if we're just talking about who's better at making a song.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, of course, impact, like career. It's like what's that? The John Stockton versus D Wade.
No.
John Stockton versus D Wade.
All right,
that Fluent loves to get off.
Let's get into it because we're gonna have an hour show for you guys. I know we've probably mentioned this before, but we're trying to bring you more content. We're gonna slip in as many of these hour-long segment type shows as possible in between full Players' Choice shows. So today we're breaking down the Suns roster, talking about everything Phoenix Suns. But there is a couple other things that we might want to discuss before we get into that. Shaq, did you want to talk about Kyrie and the Nets Sixers?
Yeah, I want to talk about it, but first I want to say, if you have #1 NBA debate show in your bio, please remove it. I don't know who needed to hear that.
Fast.
I told you guys we were we were lawnmowing people down and it's happening. So shout out to everybody. I'm not gonna keep begging people to be a part of this. I think those days are over. Either you're rocking with it, or you're not moving forward. So, but I don't know if anybody else has anything to speak on, but we had a real viral day yesterday.
I was gonna ask, did anything interesting happen yesterday? I don't know.
Not according to Jason Williams. He quickly answered that tweet and was like, "Yeah, no, what happened?"
Yeah, it's a pretty slow day yesterday.
Yeah, that was, my agent said his phone was blowing up with people contacting him about that quote, but he said Jay Will don't give a fuck. Yeah, Jay Will don't care. So we cool, we chilling.
I didn't care either.
There were plenty of comments under that though that understood where he was coming from, because the Lakers, obviously, with all the legends that they have, like there's an argument that could be made for Kobe not to be top 5 Laker. I mean,
it's just
I know there's a lot of that ruffles,
but it's an argument that you can make.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all.
I feel like that's not the nastiest thing that happened on Players' Choice. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it.
I don't know, Euro.
I don't agree with it. I would have never said that. But fam, there's a lot of Laker legends out there, and I'm not here, coming to Jason Williams' defense, because obviously, he can handle himself when it comes to that stuff, and he's standing on what he's standing on.
Facts.
But I do see, what he means listing off all those legends, and a lot of that stuff. A lot of that stuff is personal preference.
Or the 5th one. Like, okay, let's even put Bron in there. So who's 5th? That's
Baylor is what people are saying.
Hold on, did you put Wilt Chamberlain in there?
Yeah.
Wilt, Magic,
Kareem,
Shaq, Kareem, LeBron.
Yeah, right there. Yeah,
and then Baylor is there too, so I'm not debating it.
I want to bring that up on the full show because I want to dive into that a little bit. But check.
Hey, JD, can I just say
I
Player's
would do that.
Choice, as you see, is the place where you can come and just get off your nastiest take possible, and we welcome you, okay? We welcome you with open arms.
Of course.
That's pretty crazy that happened like that. I don't
That
I
fed
don't
right
know. That
into
was
Chill
wild.
Town narrative too.
You know what's funny, and we can move on after this, but a lot of the comments are saying, nah, they're just saying that for views. Like, we didn't prompt him to say anything.
You guys think we like gave Jay Will a bag to make him come on and say that?
Right.
What bag can we give Jay Will? It's Jay Will.
To say that.
You
And
think we
and
have
here's the
somebody
thing.
behind the camera with a gun to him? Like, no, Jay Will, say this.
Yeah.
And let's not gloss over the fact that Chilltown was like, that's not nasty. That's not ridiculous to say.
Exactly.
He also
So he kind of low-key agree with that. I'm not sure if he's making that same argument.
So you already know that.
He cleared it up on his page. He
Oh, did he?
Someone asked him a question. He cleared it up. He's got a video on his TikTok talking about it. So yeah,
I gotta check that out.
Chill
I mean,
might have
Chill
been
and Jay Will
nastier
were
than
both
Jay
pretty
Will.
nasty.
Because
Yeah, they both were nasty that episode.
Chill said he's number 11 on his list.
right.
I damn near think I would respect Jay Will's take saying Kobe's not top 5 because that's a legitimate top 5. You can put Will is 5 in your top 5 and then get away with that, you know. But Kobe not top 10, that's not something you say. It's just
Crazy. Yeah, that's a bad get off.
Do we want to touch on the Nets Sixers really quick?
Yeah, the Nets are gonna lose that series. The Nets are gonna lose that series. It is written. I see it in the stars. Like, I like when people get that first blow in and get cocky. Mm-hmm. You know, KD, I'm with you when you write. Like, y'all told him up. Y'all was John. The refs let y'all go. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You got to win 4 of those.
Yeah.
You got to win 4 of them.
I agree.
So good luck.
I don't think there's even a takeaway from this. The Nets showed up, did what they were supposed to do, and the Sixers weren't competitive from the tip-off. So, like, there's, you know, I don't see a scenario play out where in the playoff series the Sixers don't show up and the Nets can just thrash them 4 games straight, including home games where Kyrie is, you know, still up in the air whether or not he's going to be able to participate or not. If they, you know, them blowing them out by a 30 piece, like I don't see that happening at all.
And we still haven't even seen Ben Simmons with them and how that works. So
that's
exactly.
And he's not an easy piece to just plug in. That you've got to work with that. And
exactly,
that's going to be so weird.
And that's another ball handler. And that was a point. And that was a point that was an issue. You know, like even if it was a minor issue, but with James Harden and Kyrie, you know, 2 ball handlers, guys that need to, you know, ball in their hands to like run the offense, do whatever they need to do. And they had a, you know, back and forth for like some games where it's like, yo, who's doing what now? And I think that's going to be the same with Ben Simmons. They're going to have to figure that out once he comes back. And that's some more time off the clock for them that they can't really afford.
Is he coming back though?
So in my thing to that, Boo-Wop, is even if he does come back, it's so late in the season. He hasn't touched, well, he's touched a basketball, obviously, but he hasn't gotten any game time in this whole season. His conditioning is going to be interesting to see. His flow in the game, you know, that's not easy to just come back, and you've seen it with Klay Thompson. You got to get your footing under you and get used to playing in NBA games again. So does he have enough time to adjust come playoffs if he does come back, which I'm assuming they're anticipating he's going to come back for playoffs? But
they're saying March 18th is his debut. That's what J1 in the chat said. It's just weird for me because now I'm starting to wake up. I'm like, okay, let's get the crust out of my eyes. I sat here and defended Ben Simmons for months on end, back to back to back. And you guys told me, not you guys, but in general, that he was the most trash player ever. Now, all of a sudden, when you plug him into this, it's just going to work effortlessly and flawlessly. I can't wait to see it. Good luck. I hope that it does. I really do. But that's just weird. Not everybody loves Ben Simmons. It's a weird take.
It's like a Nets bias across the board. There's a Nets bias. And I responded to somebody in the comments on YouTube where I don't understand how we say the Lakers are the worst in the league, or like, seemingly make them out to be that. And the Nets are sitting literally in the same exact spot, just in the East. And we still think they can compete for a title. I'm not saying that's for either team, that's an accurate depiction, like where they need to be like placed or ranked at. But the gap between the two is not big. The Nets may be better and all this and that, but it's still, they're in the East and they're sitting where they're sitting. The Lakers are in the West and they're sitting where they're sitting, and that's the same boat. So I don't really understand how people go so crazy over the Nets and hate on the Lakers the way that they do. It's all narrative to me.
And I'm confused. How did the Nets win this trade? That's what I'm still confused. You traded away James Harden and got Ben Simmons at the end of the day. You could try to say all of the pieces that come along with it. You guys are just doing things just to make yourself feel better. It's really weird that Ben Simmons is all of a sudden the answer to you guys winning a ring. But I don't know, because if Kyrie was injured in the playoffs last season, does Ben and KD get it done? Or you guys
last night?
Cool.
And I'm not saying that they're the better team. The playoffs are different, but what I'm gonna say in terms of that, and we'll get to this when we do Philadelphia's playoff breakdown. But I think Philly goes as James Harden goes. James Harden started off the game 1 for 10.
That's not true.
James Harden. So why did they get smacked last night?
Embiid didn't have a good game either. But you guys always sweep that under the
night.
rug too. He shot 1 million shots. Look at how many shots.
I think he took 9, but he took like 23 first.
I mean, it's like what Embiid wasn't Mr. Reliable. Like
James Harden had 11 though, Shaq. He can't have 11 points.
Come on.
There's no way that's not what they brought him in the
it's
Philly
one game.
Hey, and I'm not saying this to even talk bad about James Harden. I'm saying this to say that Philadelphia goes as James goes. If James gets a 25-point triple-double, Philly's gonna beat Brooklyn.
No, because they could go even before James Harden even got there. And they're not shooting below 30% or around 25% from the field or whatever they was shooting. That's like, this is not happening. This is a one-off. If there was ever a one-off, this is the one.
No, well,
but it is James Harden's job to get his teammates easy looks.
But he just got there too. And this is exactly what I mean by like inserting a new player, especially a caliber like him. Just because he's boy, now they meeting somebody. Now there's attention. Now there's like, everybody's looking towards this matchup. You're going to be doing different things. You're going to be trying different things.
And this
did KD and Kyrie have good games?
What's wrong with that? Yes, they played phenomenal.
Okay, so what if one of them have a bad game? Do they win?
I don't know. It's a toss-up. I'm just saying.
Okay, so then what are we talking about?
I'm saying Philly goes as James goes right now. If James has a good
how
game,
does the Nets go?
Their chances of winning skyrocket. The Nets go.
Tell me how the Nets go.
The Nets go like KD and Kyrie goes. If them two are making
so it's
shots,
KD and Kyrie for okay.
I disagree. I think it's what Ben Simmons is going to be for that team. If he's going to truly be the answer, then I think that's going to make the difference with the Nets. Like if he just coming in there and he's not Ben Simmons, that I think he should be better in this situation, because like he's not going to be asked to do the same things in Philly. His 16-8-8 is going to be looking very good over there in Brooklyn, in my opinion.
And let me tell you guys right now, Bulls are going to the second round.
Oh boy,
that's my hot take.
All right,
that's not a hot take, Shaq.
Thank you.
Let's get into this. Ron, I'll let you take over, but let me get a couple formalities out of the way. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like the video. Shout out to everyone tuned in live on Twitch and YouTube. I wanted to touch on this really quick as well. If you follow us on social media, you've already seen that we broke the top 30 in the United States for basketball podcasts. We're currently sitting at 18 right now in the United States. So if you have Apple Podcasts, please go to our show. Go download the show. Even if you watch on YouTube, download it, rate it, review it. I think it's just going to continue helping us push it, and let's see if we could break top 10 in the next few days, in the next week, whatever. But shout out to everybody who's been supporting the show and pushing us higher and higher. It's been crazy. Go ahead, check.
And shout out to the Apple Podcast algorithm for doing weird things.
Doing weird things. All right, Ron.
They're doing weird things. They're doing really weird things. Like they boosted us up, but they're acting weird over there because they don't understand what's going on over here. It's not traditional to them. they hear Ron's takes and they get a little they get a little nervous, and I get it. I understand it.
Hey, me and Dub, we got a secret group chat where we've been constructing things. We got more where that comes from. Plenty more.
They must watch.
Hey.
They must watch Gridiron.
Yeah. Thank you as well, Jay Will. We appreciate that.
All right, Ron,
All right,
let's talk about the
folks.
Suns.
So we're doing our playoff breakdown. We're gonna go, by teams that are obviously gonna be in the playoffs. The first team that actually has clinched their playoff berth is the Phoenix Suns. How ironic, they're the best team in the league record-wise. They're 53-13. They're first in their conference, first in their division, yada yada yada. I'm gonna just give you guys their roster and their starting five. So their starting five is DeAndre Ayton at center. You got Jay Crowder at power forward. You have Mikal Bridges at the 3, Devin Booker at the 2, and obviously Chris Paul at the 1. Their key bench pieces are Cameron Johnson. He had a 38-point game the other night, a big game winner, buzzer beater. JaVale McGee, Cameron Payne, Landry Shamet. They just got Aaron Holiday, Torrey Craig, and Bismack Biyombo. Those are some of their key pieces. That's their roster. So now we're just going to talk about what is the dynamic of their team, what makes them go, and what are their weaknesses. And so to start us off, we're going to start with just their offense. Points per game and their offensive rating. Mars, you want to kind of give us a rundown on what that entails?
Oh, so basically offensive rating, I'm sure most people know, it's just about points scored per 100 possessions, which is basically the easy.
Hold on, Morris. Hold on. NBA, I don't know how the hell with this roster you guys are letting Phoenix run the table like this in the regular season.
It's crazy.
I don't know with this roster how you guys are even allowing something like this. I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm looking at the names. Okay, Devin Booker and Chris Paul. But I see Ayton, Bridget. You guys are making these guys all look like all-stars and deserve max contracts. They're all key pieces. It's crazy. I just wanted to say that.
Chemistry over talent.
I was going to say,
I said
you're
this.
looking at it the wrong way. Don't look at their
coaching.
names. Look at their play styles and how they fit.
JD, though, it's the NBA. That's the first thing you do is look at their names. Like just think about it. When James Harden got traded to the Nets, we're like, James Harden, Kyrie, KD. Oh my God, it's about to be the best thing since the Jackson 5.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say that, bro.
I didn't say that.
I mean, I'm still leaning towards my 76ers, but I'm
Jackson
just saying,
5 is fire, by the way.
The Suns, CP3 is a proven winner. I don't care what you guys say.
So he's not empty stats.
I mean, he for sure is empty stats, but he elevates. He gives everybody else the opportunity for empty stats.
Hold on. You could be empty stats and a proven winner at the same time?
Yeah. It's a nuance.
Okay.
It's a nuance. It's a nuance. You can be empty stats and a winner.
That's nice.
I've seen him with Westbrook. It happens. It's a career context, Ben.
What season was he a winner and empty stats?
With
the Clippers, with Lob City, with the Houston Rockets when he got injured. Like anytime he gets injured in the playoffs, I count that. That's a winning season for me for Chris Paul.
Okay.
Because I feel like he actually had a chance to.
Wait, so
it's kind of
Luka Doncic is a winner then?
No. He has to make it out the first round, and he can't. He doesn't get injured. He goes in there and puts up numbers and gets smacked by Kawhi every time.
He did get out the first round, didn't he? In the bubble?
No.
Nah, lost in 6.
I don't think you know who I was about to be nasty. Never mind. Let's move along because Luka Doncic is killing, and I'm ready to walk back my Jason Tatum takes.
Oh,
yeah!
Wow, that is
I was watching that in 4K.
Yeah.
I was watching that in 4K on IG, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't know. I just feel I'm like because he was killing. That was the game where he was. Who did they play? Ron, I think you sent me the highlights.
Charlotte
44.
Yeah, Charlotte. Actually, one of the fans sent it to me, and I was like, all right, let me watch this. It was like 10 slides on the carousel, and I was like, Tatum is going crazy
Bananas.
right now. Yeah. And he's efficient. So, and somebody also said he's first in defensive shares for small forwards in the league. Then I told him to name me all the small forwards after him, and I don't think he messaged me back. But I mean, congrats, hats off to Tatum.
Go ahead, Mars.
Oh, okay. So, offensive rating, just points scored per 100 possessions, good measure of doesn't get inflated by pace and whatever. Phoenix are 4th in the league with 113.5. And I think that's a key indicator that they score with the best of the teams, even though people don't really talk about them as an offensive team. I don't know why. But their effective field goal percentage too, that's 5th best in the league at 54.5%. So not only are they scoring a lot, they're getting very efficient shots, mainly comes from CP and what he's able to generate on offense, which is key for them. Their point differential is the best in the league by a pretty solid margin at 7.8. So they're not really in a lot of close games, which says a lot about how they're able to handle business and whatever.
Can I
the case
ask a
may be.
question on that point?
Yeah.
You said that the reason why they are, mixing it up with the best of them and obviously are top of the league is because everything runs through CP. Now, with CP's history of injury in the postseason, how severe do you think the drop off is going to be if he happens to be, knock on wood that he don't, but if he happens to be out again for, like, let's say just 2 or 3 games in the playoffs, and those are, the crucial games that they would need in order to advance to the next round or even win the championship?
It's actually interesting you spoke about that because I have a bit here for assists per game. And
I bet. Keep going then.
The Suns are 4th best in the league in terms of assists at 27, but CP is more than a third of them. And the only teams that have guys with double-digit assists averages who won a title was the Lakers in 2020 and the Magic Johnson Lakers in the 80s. And whether or not we can rely on CP to be that level of player in the playoffs is kind of yet to be seen. We've never seen a player who's that ball dominant in terms of assists, and that mainly the only real playmaker on the team really lead a team to a title. So that's a bit of a concern for them. But overall, their offense is very solid.
I have a question about assists. Do you think the NBA should start tracking hockey assists?
I have a
yes,
take.
Sure,
yeah.
I do too.
Should for sure.
I do
Yes.
too because I think it's an important. I think it gets overlooked a lot.
Yes. Well, and I think here's the thing. I think a hockey assist in the NBA, specifically, with the NBA, I think is also you swing it to the corner from like the opposite wing or something like that, and then that person takes like 2 dribbles straight to the rim and scores. I think that should be a hockey assist instead of an assist.
Yeah, I also think
I get that.
I'm drinking tea and I had an espresso and I'm about to open up this Kit Kat. That's for the chat. But anyways, I think I got a wild take. Honestly, because I hoop and I feel like not being the point guard, my opportunities to get an assist come few and far between. Everybody has to make the shot. So I feel like I should be credited for getting somebody a wide open look.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my fault that they tricked off the shot. In football, if the QB passes the ball and the receiver catches it, but he fumbles it, he still gets credited for those yards. So why does my good eye vision get looked over and then nobody sees that I did a good job by getting into the paint and kicking out? I mean, it's in
because
Shaq, I don't think that's wild because I actually agree with that. I think they should have some way of tracking and measuring
some metric
how many times you get somebody an open look per game and the percentage, right, of how many they make or miss or whatever, and tracking because you're still playmaking for your teammates.
No, 1,000%.
But
it's like the point guards only get credit.
Right.
They're throwing it to the big man 100 times, and I'm so tired of the PER, whatever it's called, the plus minus scale, because it's just built for big men and point guards. That's all it is, built for rebounding. You know how hard it is to get a steal compared to a rebound, but every rebound that these 7-footers who are standing in the key get, it's +1 for them. So the stats just look amazing, of course. All right, whatever. Shay asks what a hockey assist is. It's when you pass it to the person that passes it to the person that makes the basket. So if I pass it to JD and JD passes it to LeBron makes the basket, I get credit for the hockey assist. That's basically what it is.
And when it comes to the Phoenix Suns, they are actually a team that moves the ball extremely well. I know a lot of people give Chris Paul credit for that. Monty Williams should get more credit for that too. That's their head coach, because it's actually a culture type of thing. And even without Chris Paul, watching the Suns, they move the ball around every single possession. More than usually 3 to 4 people touch the ball every single possession. And that makes it easier for people to get hockey assists. That makes it easier for the team to get more assists. And they're just an unselfish team in general.
For sure. Actually, football or soccer, however you want to say it. There's a stat called expected assists, which I think, Shaq, you'd like. It's just about if you create an opportunity for someone, they calculate what the chances of that opportunity being converted was, and then you get given that like percent as like a stat. And it's just like you measure what you're creating rather than, because the assist is dependent on someone making a shot. What they do is they just give you the credit for creating the opportunity for the shot to be made, which I think basketball should really try to look into. And I don't think it would be that hard to really bring in.
Right, because
I mean, I'm pretty
now
sure the
you can't-
analytical
But
guys
would it
do.
be fair?
Yeah, who knows
sure.
what type of analytics they're tracking? Because what you have to do, right, as a scout, is you just have to understand what this person does outside of the stat sheet, right? This person's getting open looks for their teammates because of whatever reason. They're moving on the floor, they're setting these screens, whatever they're doing. So you can't really measure it on stats. You just have to be watching, paying attention to who's doing what. And that's why when teams go and sign players and you're just digging into stats, right? You're like, what is this player even bringing to the team? Not even knowing that their skill set that doesn't necessarily fill the stat sheet is what that team needs, right?
That's the baseball influence. I feel like the Oakland A's, they kind of brought that to the forefront. And I think you can't really translate that to basketball 100% because in baseball, I don't think chemistry, excuse me, I don't think chemistry on the field, you have to have team chemistry, of course, but chemistry on the field doesn't have to be as on point as it is with basketball because everybody's just in their own, there's no proximity to where you have to see movements and all that stuff. I mean, I'm not a baseball expert, but and I don't want to, discredit them for that because it may be, but not to the level of basketball.
It's for sure.
Not on the string.
For sure, basketball is you would need more chemistry than baseball, obviously, but infielders and outfielders, you need that chemistry of I know this guy's gonna get to this ball because I know his speed, whatever. I know that I need to run behind him. He's going to the ball, and then turning double plays, et cetera, et cetera.
But that's defense. But that's defense. We talking offensive, analytics.
You don't need any chemistry when you're at bat. I feel like there's between the coaches and the runners, maybe
compare either though, because I think you need to be more on the string far as basketball defense. Like the rotations have to be on point, everything. Versus baseball, you just literally standing there waiting for the ball to come in your area. Well, it's not the same with basketball, clearly.
Yeah, I would. I mean, that's a really good question. What's harder to play defense in baseball or basketball? I feel like basketball is more unexpected, but I mean, baseball to me is one of one for the most beautiful sport. Just in its essence, it isn't complicated. It's a very simple game. And then I feel like basketball is right under it. I feel like the NFL is extremely forced. Golf is also forced with the rules and to make it interesting. But the fluidity, basketball and baseball to me are 1 and 2. But I think it's harder to play. I don't know, Boo. I don't know. That ball's coming at you really fast on the baseball field.
No doubt. But I just don't. It's just not a lot of active plays. Like basketball is just constant. It's too constant, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's nuances to both of them, so I agree. I mean, because you can get faked out so easily in basketball. A guy can look you in your eye and just freeze you and then make the pass to another defender. It's crazy. I just want to know, is CP3 the best point guard in the league? I'm ready to give him the best point guard since Jason Kidd. I'm trying to think of a better point guard than CP3.
You're talking about traditional.
I'm really curious.
Traditional
your
sense.
definition of point guard.
Traditional sense, right?
Yeah.
The ball in his hands for majority of the game.
I would agree.
I would have to.
It's either him or Steve Nash. It's just about I'd go CP3 in that situation, but it's them two as the two best since Jason Kidd.
But doesn't that make him? But doesn't that make him point guard by the best one by default, or at least top 3 by default? Because this is just them 3. J Kidd,
maybe
Ricky Rubio.
Well,
you got Rondo.
You got Rondo.
I don't know if this.
But we're not. Rondo's a role player.
I don't know if this changes the conversation at all. But could you ask in a different way? Is Chris Paul the best floor general in the NBA?
That's fine. We can do. I mean,
because I think he controls the game better than anyone else in the NBA right
But
now.
then we're talking positionless again, because I would say, LeBron is definitely up there. I
Of
think
course.
even Jokic, should be in the conversation. I think he has
Luka's
some
in that
ways to go.
conversation.
Luka,
got
you
Luka.
say?
Ah,
Yeah, I got
man.
Luka. I got maybe Trey Young in that conversation as well.
Why
But
not Ja Morant?
Luka.
I don't think Ja controls the game to the same level as those guys,
I
but
agree.
I think he's a great player. I just don't think, in terms of, if we're talking floor general, I just
Dominating
don't
the
think
ball.
Yeah, I
He
think
don't. Yeah, he don't dominate.
Ja's more of a dynamic scorer than anything else. The passing comes off of that, whereas I think these guys are more, their scoring opens up because of their passing. I think Ja's the other way around.
Agreed.
This is
Oh,
completely off topic and has nothing to do with the Suns, but I was watching the Bucks like a week ago or 2 weeks ago or something, and I realized that Giannis is not a very good passer.
That's not true.
I'm dead
not true.
serious. He was throwing it into
That's
the
not true.
stands in the third row.
That's
I
not-
was like, what is going on?
He's
No,
improved,
the thing-
but he's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
elite.
The thing is with Giannis is he's going so fast. So literally somebody just steps into his way and he has to make those last second decisions. So that's when you see him throw it into the pass. But the games where he has 18 assists, everybody's like, oh my God, that's a weird take, JD.
I feel like it's not a weird take because what are the I would have to see though if he's having 18 assists, I would have to see what are those passes though? Are those
Well, we can
easy
just look up his assist to
passes?
turnover
They're
ratio.
similar to the passes that you're talking about there that go out of bounds. For everyone that goes out of bounds, there's a lot where he swings it to the corner offhand, and it's just a bullet straight to a shooter. So it's about the consistency of him finding guys. But he has that pass in his arsenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen LeBron almost kill somebody in the first row. Like it happens. These games happen.
All right, sorry.
These games for sure happen.
Sorry, I was
It's
about
so-
to derail us for a second.
When are we going to tell the truth about Jay Crowder? I don't understand how he keeps popping up on these. I mean, he's been on with Phoenix for a while, but
He was on Miami
Man,
before.
I've always
Phoenix.
liked
2
Jay
years.
Crowder. Jay
He's been
Crowder
2
played
years.
on the Mavs for a little bit.
oh, he's okay. He's super. He always on a winning type situation.
And that's what I was
He
gonna
that-
say.
good
Jay
he that
Crowder-
type of
Jay
player.
Crowder's
He's
a
a-
winner.
He's one
too.
of those players that only have value on good teams.
Yeah,
On a
3
bad
and D.
team, on a bad team, you're not going to be like, oh, Jay Crowder, let's get him. Like,
Well,
he's not
then
gonna
shout
do
out
that.
to his agent, because he puts him in those positions, because if he was to be, play for the, I don't know, man, the Magic or something like that, man, it would be ugly, I think.
He doesn't play outside of himself.
Yeah. I mean,
And
he
shout out
just
to the chat.
he a solid
No, go and
defender.
move up.
No, I said he a solid defender that can guard the 3 and the 4. So like that's high value in the league right now.
I have a few guys in the league to where I feel like and somebody brought this up, J1 in the chat, to where when I'm watching them live, I never see them make a 3-point shot.
I said this too.
Jay Crowder is one of them. For me, weirdly, Kevin Durant is. And I'm just like, when I have those games, like I'm just about to tune in and just watch KD make all these threes. And he
Mhm.
goes like 1 for 6. And the one that he made, I turned my head to
Yeah.
wipe my baby's mouth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually true.
I've
But he's
never-
just magically
every
one of those
televised
guys.
game.
Listen,
Every
I have
televised
never seen Jay Crowder make a 3. And that's not to say that he can't make threes, but it's Shaq, the same with you and KD. I have never seen Jay Crowder make a 3.
He
It's
kills the
mind-boggling.
Warriors. If
I
you want to
have.
watch him play the Warriors, he'll hit 6.
man,
That's
listen,
all
man,
he
I'm
ever
gonna tune
does.
in, and that'll be the game
When
where he
he's
don't.
hot, he's hot. If he misses
Yeah, he's
2, if
liable
you
to
watch
go
him
off
miss
for
2
like
in a game, you're
6
like,
or
he's
7.
not gonna make any threes this game.
Hey,
Yeah, if he
so-
misses the first one, it's a
Yeah,
long
right.
game.
He's got to hit that first one.
So for Jay Crowder, just kind of over his career, he played in those 2 years in Boston where they greatly overachieved, where Isaiah Thomas had his breakout years. They had Avery Bradley, Al Horford, and they were a good team. He left there, went to Cleveland the year that they went to the championship with Braun, 2018. Obviously, they lost to the Warriors. Next 2 years, he plays for the Jazz. They go to the playoffs. They make pretty good runs those years as well. That next year, he gets traded to Miami. Ironically, Miami goes to the finals. The next year, ends up signing with the Suns. The Suns, they make that dramatic turnaround. Ironically, out of nowhere, the Suns make a run to the title. So, I mean, to say that Jay Crowder is like the key piece that turned him around, obviously it's a lot of Chris Paul, but I think Jay Crowder needs a little more credit than we give him.
We've been looking at the wrong guys, Ron. It's been Jay Crowder all along.
I guess it's
Who would
him.
have ever thought? That's crazy.
But-
really
but-
quick.
Watch it.
So-
Watch the Suns make it to the finals, win the chip, and Jay Crowder gets Finals MVP. That would be crazy.
On an
Insane.
Iguodala
That'd be
tip.
fire.
Yo, really quick. Shifty, thank you for the sub. E Nolan, thank you for gifting out 5. Sorry, Ron, you were gonna say something.
I was gonna say one thing about Jay Crowder and another thing about Chris Paul as well. A guy that Jay Crowder reminds me of, and I don't think Jay Crowder gets enough credit, but this other guy gets a great amount of credit. A PJ Tucker type of guy where you can guard 3s, 4s, and 5s, and you can play small ball with Jay Crowder, but also on the offensive end, spaces the floor in a good way for any team. I think Jay Crowder needs to get more flowers as a two-way player and just as a winning piece.
Someone also pointed out in the chat, and I thought it was actually a decent comparison, was that Jay Crowder is what Jeff Green used to be. Does anyone agree or disagree to that?
I think
I've
Jay
never been
Crowder's
on a
better
Jeff Green.
I think Jay Crowder's better defensively, for sure.
I've never
think
been
Jeff
on a
Green is
Jeff
better
Green train.
offensively.
Yeah,
that.
Jeff Green more liable to go get you 25 on a night, but in terms of both sides of the ball, I think Jay Crowder.
And
takes-
Jeff Green is more exciting too. I think I don't know if that matters much to people, but I think that helps the narrative when he's day in, day out, game in, game out, he's able to put somebody in the basket on some highlight shit. So I think that helps a lot because it draws attention to the team in a positive way and everything like that. We see it with the Nets and the Lakers, right? Like they don't really have all these highlights with the Lakers. They have highlights, at least people think they have highlights with the Nets. Kyrie doing what he's doing, KD obviously being box office. That's a bad take, but you know what I'm saying though, right?
I got you.
Yeah,
Highlights don't always equate to wins and all of that.
but you get more noticed and people know who you
Yeah,
are.
definitely.
People know Jeff Green. before they know Jay
Because I
Crowder.
definitely, when I look back, I will remember Jeff Green. Like in 5 years, 10 years, I will remember Jeff Green, and I won't remember Jay Crowder. Is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mars, can you touch on what the Suns did in the offseason and what they did during the season?
Yeah, so in the offseason, they re-signed CP for 4 years, 120, but the third year is not a full guarantee, which is ideal because he's at 45 now. They got campaign to a 3-year deal for 19 mil. They got JaVale McGee on a 1-year, 5 mil deal. And then they got a few other pieces. They got Frank Kaminsky on a 1 year. And then no one else really important. And then during the season, they got Aaron Holiday and Torrey Craig in the deadline. And then they got Bismack Biyombo for the rest of the season, which was a good pickup for them.
Can we rank these off-season moves? Who was the best signing? I feel like this is going to sound
JaVale.
crazy. I was going to say that, Euro, and I didn't know if it was going to sound crazy, but you just...
It's not crazy. JaVale is a key piece. The Lakers don't win without him. I think the Warriors definitely got a boost with him. That's a 3-time champion. All that Shaqtin' a fool kind of
Exactly.
hurt him.
Exactly.
But dog, this guy has a motor, and he's a 7-footer with arms that are, I don't know what his wingspan is, like fucking 11 feet or something,
Yeah.
whatever.
touching the top of the backboard, standing on the ground.
I think he's the best backup big in the league, in my
I
opinion.
mean, he's who you guys want Drummond to be. So bad.
He's more
So
athletic
bad.
than Drummond.
JaVale got
I
game
mean,
though too. JaVale can catch
Ron,
the
you
ball
said
on
the same
block
thing
and go
about
get you a
Drummond.
bucket. Drummond do
You
too.
said the same
but
thing about
it's-
Drummond.
I didn't say Drummond had game. I said Drummond can play.
I mean, you made it seem like that was like the key piece to the.
It
What?
is.
It is what?
It helps them a lot. I mean, here's the thing with what I'm saying with the Nets. It's like you got Andre Drummond or you got Nick Claxton. You got a dude that can get you 20 rebounds, or you got a dude who barely weighs 20 pounds. Which you like? Who do you want at your center? That's the
DeMarcus
only thing I
Cousins.
was saying.
Ben
They should have
Simmons.
signed him.
Ben Simmons
But-
at the center? That's tough. KD.
But nah, Shaq for sure tried to ruin JaVale's career, and he's held a big narrative on how people view JaVale. And JaVale really can ball.
But you got to
I wonder
remember,
what JD
CP
thinks
makes
about-
CP makes bigs look much better than they are.
Like, yeah, no,
But
that
it
is a
wasn't
fact.
just. But I don't think JaVale looks his best with the Suns, and he's played on other teams where, like I said, where he's looked better, and CP wasn't the point
How many
guard.
Yeah,
rings
it's not
does he
just
have?
JaVale, but Bismack Biyombo's looked like a very good NBA player, and he was close to being out of the league this season. He was signing 10
Yeah.
days for Phoenix, and now he's
Right.
looking like a solid rotational player. So You gotta give
Javale
credit
got
to
3
Steve
rings.
for what he does.
That's tough.
Good systems, though.
That's tough.
He's a big
DeAndre.
contributor
Oh,
to all of them as well.
what do we think about DeAndre Ayton?
I think he's key for this team in terms of what they
Really?
allow. In
Okay.
terms of scoring inside, he's the majority of all their points in there. And as a rim protector, he's other than JaVale, he's pretty much all they've got when he's not on the court. They're allowing quite a few points inside. So I think
Is
he's
he replaceable, Ayton?
realistically probably not.
I
Not
don't
for
think
this
so.
Who
team.
could replace
I
him in
mean,
the league?
Yeah, you can
You gotta-
obviously say you could get Jokic, you can get Embiid.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
not
but
realistic.
That's not realistic.
Yeah, it's not. And they should have paid him this last offseason. They should have gave him that extension because if somebody throws a bag at DeAndre and he decides to walk away, I don't think this Phoenix Suns team can bounce back and even be a shell of what they are.
I mean, who
gonna throw the
I
bag?
think Jarrett Allen's in that
Somebody-
DeAndre.
I mean,
nobody's
he's
throwing that bag?
Yeah,
Who's throwing that bag?
Yeah,
somebody
there'll be
gonna
a
throw it.
team. I think apparently Portland are looking at getting him.
Who up?
And
He's not
they have
maxing.
cap space.
No,
I don't think so.
they had a chance to. Oh, you're not saying he's max?
I don't think Aiden's max. No.
I think a team will give him the max.
I think they would, but I'm just saying I personally don't believe he's a max player. I wouldn't pay him max money, but it might be a team to pay him. He's
You
young.
wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't pay him max.
Just off of
keep in mind,
potential, you feel like he has
he's only
a
23.
ceiling?
Yeah, but I don't think you can have
I-
DeAndre Ayton as the best player in your championship team, which I guess is what he's assuming max, what he would classify as max money.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's multiple teams. I mean, right now, Michael Porter Jr. is the highest paid player on the Sun or on the Nuggets, and clearly,
I mean, we
not the
can't,
best
but we
player.
shouldn't do we because we know how crazy that is. So we don't really have to compare it to like, oh, Tobias is max. Just in this situation, I mean, Mars and Bua both made a good point. As in DeAndre Ayton, like he's in a perfect situation. If you give him max, you got to have 2 guys over him that is making max and that are better than him. So how do you win a championship like that?
I think
I
he
don't
could be the
think-
second best player
Yeah,
going
CP
forward.
gets down.
Let's not do
CP
this, man.
declines
Let's
a
not
little
do
bit, and then if D Book takes another
Ron,
step, I think you can work with DeAndre Ayton.
Back.
Mars, both of you
Second
guys, let's not let
he
Bua.
cannot be the second best
like,
player.
Why
Like,
couldn't he
let's
be?
not do this, right? No, this is the same thing as the Cavs argument in 5 years, and Darius Garland the next day went off. And I don't, so I don't know. It's like I see into the future. I say, I don't know. Maybe Darius Garland can be better than Jason Tatum in the future. And what, if he go put up like 41 and 14? And you guys, if he does that even remotely, 30 and 10. All right, okay, now let's not get carried away. But 26 and 10. I feel like that's, you guys will say that's better than Jason Tatum because you guys, Luka does that and you say he's better than Jason Tatum. So I'm ready for you guys to walk back that Darius Garland can be better than Jason Tatum moving forward.
I didn't say he
No.
couldn't be.
I still think he can be.
I think he could be too. I just say right now Tatum's better, and that's what I go off of what's going on right now. Like the projection would be hard to do. I would have to know that both or one or the other fell off or something. I don't know that.
I feel like if they
Dar-
both kept increasing year by year,
No,
Darius Garland
damn
takes the
way.
bigger steps.
I don't think
Jason
so.
Tatum.
No.
I don't think so.
Darius Garland will never be better than Jason Tatum in their careers.
If they keep ascending
Wow.
at the same pace, I can't see it.
And
Wow.
here's
So
the thing,
then,
though.
with this
Darius
logic,
can win
Jason
more
Tatum's
than him.
better than Luka Doncic, right?
What?
Who?
Jason Tatum's better than Luka. He's
No.
better than John Morant.
No.
Is he better than John Morant?
That's a
Jason
close one.
Tatum.
Yeah,
That's
is he better
close.
than John Morant?
I'll give it to Jason Tatum just because he's more proven than John Morant. And this is
So
John
you would
Morant's.
want
I think last year was kind of his breakout year, right? And then this year he's just pedal to the metal. Now it's like all eyes on him having an amazing season. But you have to wait until next season to see if he continues it. Jason
so
Tatum's
if
been
Darius
doing
Garland
this.
makes
I
that
think we have to
same
wait
jump-
until the playoffs and to see what he does
There you
there.
go.
That's true.
Well, we're gonna
too.
see everybody in the playoffs too, but I don't really like with the younger guys. Okay, we know it's about to be an empty stats carnival. They're gonna put up numbers or maybe not, whatever. I'm just saying, like career wise and just talent wise, I feel like Garland, because he plays on the floor, you guys don't give him the credit because it's gonna be very similar to John Morant next year, and I'm taking John Morant over Jason Tatum to start my team. And I feel like a few GMs in the league would agree with me.
I mean,
And
it
course.
Scottie Pippen.
Of course.
depends. I think it depends.
Don't make it right though, Shaq.
Me and Scotty see eye to eye on a lot of things.
I don't think they do that. because what small guards have really proven they can win other than Isaiah Thomas and Steph?
Shaq using your argument against you.
No, if you put that's fair, Chris Paul. I mean, I
Interesting.
feel like as far as championship, what
Yeah,
does
I was
Jason
about to
Tatum prove
say,
that he can
Yeah,
win?
because
John Stockton, we can bring into the conversation too as a winner, even though, you know,
yeah, but
MVP
the
stats or
aim
whatever,
of
like
a GM wants to win rings at the end of the day. So if only two guys before have proven that they can win a ring at
I
that
don't know
size,
if every GM wants to do that though, Mars. I feel like Boston doesn't.
I feel like the Pacers don't.
then
They
they
for
aren't
sure
doing
don't.
their job correctly.
Shaq, you want to win a
Portland.
ring next year, and you could sign
I feel
either
like
Jason Tatum or Darius Garland.
Jack.
next
JD, why'd you even ask this question?
Because I just
Jack,
want to hear
don't
him.
do
I
this,
want to
bro.
hear him go against his argument that point guards can't win you championships.
No, the fact is, I said
A
Darius
rock and a
Garland. Like
hard
once he's
place.
matured, of course, I gotta take. I gotta take Tatum. I don't know. I feel like long term, if I have both of them in front of me, and I'm thinking long term, I'm taking Garland. I am 10 out of 10 times. And I'm pairing him up with
Jason Tatum, you're gonna have to sign him down the road, so he can be your best player.
No. I'm pairing him up with Zach LaVine. I'm trading DeMar DeRozan for Darius Garland right now if I'm a GM.
Who's the best player on that team?
The Bulls?
On which team?
Watch
Darius
Shaq.
Garland or
Watch,
Zach LaVine?
watch Shaq. Watch Shaq.
Zach
Man, you
LaVine.
keep putting him in these weird positions.
Shaq, you
Zach LaVine's
nasty,
the best player on
bro.
that team. I feel like
course.
Zach LaVine's better than Tatum though. I'm choosing Zach
We
LaVine to start
know.
my
No,
team.
we know Shaq.
We know.
Yeah.
Yo, Jam
I mean,
Simple,
you
thank you
guys
for
got
gifting
me.
out 5, bro.
You guys are getting nasty. I really don't understand the hype behind JT. Yeah, one good game. I liked it on Instagram. I actually liked the post.
Hold
I
on, are
walked
you
it back
walking?
there.
Are
Didn't
you
you
walking
just say
back
you
your walk back?
That's what I'm saying.
Shaq, what's the hype behind Zach LaVine?
Wait,
dude?
also, you're gonna walk back
His
that Tatum
efficiency.
take on the full show. We gotta make sure we
If
document that everywhere.
No, that's fine. If God split the universe right now and said to put it back together, one of you guys have to be efficient. Who are you guys going to choose?
Choosing Zach
That's the
LaVine.
question. Yeah, exactly. So if you
But
put Zach LaVine,
that don't make him a
in this
better player though, Shaq.
I mean, but that's the argument I always have to have. Like, of course, when I say better player, I always mean better piece. So just hear that every time that I say better player, I'm always speaking better piece. And that's why Klay Thompson is way 10 times more valuable than a Jason Tatum. I think on any team. On any team.
As your best player?
No, I don't think Klay has to be the best player, but he's going to be the best piece on any team. Like if you take Klay out of that Golden State Warriors situation, they're going to struggle. The same way if you take Draymond out. But the thing is, you can't put Draymond on any other team and they're automatically championship success or even have aspirations. But if you take Klay and let's put him in Dallas with Luka, I promise you they're making it out of the first round. I will put everything that I have that they would finally make it out of the first round. Let's look at the other teams that we can put Klay Thompson on. You put him on Miami Heat. Now they're championship contenders automatically.
Would they not be the same with Jason Tatum?
No. That's
All right, we've veered off.
Miami's a bad example.
We've
Because
veered-
Jason's so good that he would make Miami just
We've
incredible.
veered too far off the conversation. Let's talk injuries.
Well, right now the Suns have CP out for 6 to 8 weeks with a right thumb fracture.
Hold on, Mars. Pause right there at Chris Paul. So I just want to say that without Chris Paul, the Suns right now are 5-3. And I mean they've played pretty good without him, but who knows how that goes going forward.
And let's focus on the thumb because that is a nasty injury.
Mm-hmm.
Like that affects everything: dribbling, catching, shooting. Like I don't know which hand is it? Is it his dominant hand?
His
Right
It's his
hand.
right hand, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Me
Do
neither.
you guys know what an avulsion fracture is? Because I don't know what that is. I just wrote it down. It says right
Let me
thumb.
Google it real quick.
I don't know if that means something serious or not.
I swear to you, I've been playing basketball
Small
my
chunk
whole
of
life.
bone
And some of these
attached to a tendon or ligament gets pulled away from the main part of the bone.
Yeah, so that means every
That's on
time
eight.
you move it, it hurts. Like he has to do nothing with that hand. It's like in a cast, basically.
Yeah, that doesn't sound ideal. And if it's 6 to 8 weeks, does that mean he might miss the first round?
Possible.
I would bet on it because what if he
because
comes back and he's in practice and like to me, like if I was the coach, I wouldn't even let him practice.
That's what I was gonna say.
Even when he's healthy, like he's game ready. You know what I mean? And let's just, pray to the basketball gods that nothing happens to him or that thumb during those games. But I'm not risking even having him in practice. Everything's going to be walked through for him.
Yeah, you gotta manage him, especially at his age and his injury history. There's no need for him to really be practicing.
I think they can get out the first round anyway.
Exactly. Without him. Who are they gonna get? The Pelicans, the Lakers,
the Timberwolves, or the Clippers, most likely.
I don't know if they want to play the Lakers. If AD can come back, I'm making a bold statement.
Ron, I'm here to tell you. I don't know. I'm here to tell you right now.
The Lakers without Chris
I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers lost the Pelicans. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers.
I wouldn't be surprised either. But this is what I'm saying.
The Lakers not getting
without Chris Paul, if I'm the Suns, I don't want to play the Lakers if they have AD. That's all I'm gonna say.
I hear you.
All right, we have a
Ron. Don't say anything else because it's going to look like that Lakers defense is doing suicides playing the Phoenix Suns. I don't even want to see Carmelo moving that fast ever. I don't want to see it.
If I'm Frank Vogel, Carmelo's sitting his ass on the end of the bench.
Who you gonna put in? Green said about him. Which was crazy.
We're gonna have to do some soul searching.
I didn't see that.
We're gonna go to some G League teams and
Jalen Green. Jalen Green said in overtime when the Rockets won that the game plan was just to attack Melo, and that's how they were gonna win the game. And then he ended up with 32.
And then I look on a comment under that same video, and somebody saying, "Man, Melo out here moving his feet like he a damn 7-footer." And I was looking at it, and he was right. Like, no, I'm like, Melo, you can't move your feet. Like, what's going on here?
Mars, you can't get someone who's never played defense and expect him to start playing it now.
Mars.
I mean,
go ahead, Jack.
No, Alperin posted like his highlights to his page from the Rockets. Yeah. He was kind of cooking Bron a little. I mean, he was cooking everybody. I just looked around and I just double tapped it. I'm like, I'm just off LA right now.
Mars, what are the biggest threats to the Suns?
In terms of threats, the only team they have a losing record against is Golden State, and I think they played the Warriors without D-Book in 2 of those games. They're 1-2 right now against the Warriors, and against every other team, they've either have a winning record or they split. They split with Milwaukee, for example, but the game they dropped, they didn't have CP or D-Book. So if we're looking at their losses this season, it came to Denver, Portland, Sacramento, the Clippers, Memphis, Boston, Miami, Atlanta, New Orleans, Utah, and then you got the 1 game to Milwaukee and the 2 to the Warriors. They haven't really lost to any playoff rivals.
Can we talk about Jalen Green for a second? I don't know if anybody's watching his movements on the court, but with that body type scares me and those mannerisms on the court. I've yet to see a player like the way that he moves and operates on the court. It just makes me nervous every time I see it.
To me, he needs to put on weight
from an injury perspective.
I don't know. It's just the way his shoulders are, and I feel like it's just a bar going through his shoulders, and it's just always just like jittery and his movements. I feel like he's about to.
I mean, he's a typical. He still plays like a high school player. There's 2 speeds. It's either standstill or it's 100% full out sprint. Like he doesn't know how to be in the middle of that, and he doesn't recognize situations where running full speed is the worst thing to do in this scenario.
Yeah, he's not.
Once he figures that out, and that'll be around the same time when he starts to gain weight and put on a little bit of muscle. I think
it's gonna be scary.
So are we looking at Westbrook?
No.
Yeah, I think it's similar to Anthony Edwards. People had the similar issues with him early on in his rookie year as well. And he was struggling a lot. And then he figured it out. And now he's averaging 23, 24. I think it's going to be a similar growth pattern for Jalen Green.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be like the guy ever, but I think he can be like 6-man type of player, at a ceiling.
Man, y'all tripping.
I think he'd be.
I think Jalen Green can be a great scorer.
I think he could be.
No. Just because I said 6 men doesn't mean that I'm, that I'm like discrediting like 6 men, like because look at Manu, Jamal Crawford, like who else? Clarkson now, these are elite guys.
Who he reminds me of as a 6-man, and I think this is his lowest.
He reminds me of Malik Monk.
I'm gonna say J.R. Smith. I think this is his lowest ceiling. Reason being is because JG really shoots the shit out the ball, and on top of that, he's crazy athletic. So push come to shove, he gonna be a dunking 3 type of guy.
You know what? I see no problem with that, but you made it seem like I'm with the J.R. Smith, like I'm shitting on J.R. now. You know what I'm saying? Which is not at all the case. Like I rock with J.R. heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Lou Will is another one. You know, that's like those players get respect.
Okay, all right. Well, then when you say 6 man, say him type of 6 man.
That's what I mean. But that's what I mean.
I got you.
But I don't see him panning out to be
All
like
NBA.
I wouldn't start my franchise around him right now, even off of potential. I don't see that. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's like there's like 3-4 rookies in this class who I'd take over Jalen Green right now.
Hey, and Dub, I tell you guys, I try to tell you guys, this is a great rookie class. If Jalen Green all of a sudden isn't in the top 5 rookies, then it's some guys out there that got game.
For sure.
Is this rookie class better than last year's rookie class?
Maybe.
You got last year, LaMelo and
Anthony Edwards.
we haven't
Alperin.
seen Wiseman really.
Alperin.
That's this year. That's this year, no?
You had Mobley this year, right?
Yeah.
Mobley,
Barnes,
Franz Wagner, Franz Wagner.
Cade.
Forget about Cade.
Yeah.
Josh Giddey.
I would say this year better.
Jonathan Kuminga.
I think it's this year by a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
We got to start doing redrafts too.
Last
What,
question.
the last 5 years?
We could even go back to like 2003. That's one of the best draft classes ever. Just redraft the lottery.
No, I'm talking about we can just do a draft from the players from the last 5 years.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Oh, like all in one.
Yeah. You can pick from any draft class.
Last question around the Suns, Mars. What are their reasons for success?
The main reason I'd say is how good they are in the clutch. I think they haven't lost a game all season where they've led going into the fourth quarter, and they're the only team that has that level of able to close out games. Comes from CP and D-Book, what they're able to do. I think just having 2 elite mid-range scorers is something that is extremely valuable, which is why I haven't counted out the Nets fully yet, because being able to score in the mid-range, especially in close games when teams try to take away threes and layups, is something that's key. And in terms of like their record in total, it's very similar on the home and at home and on the roads, which shows that they don't really get fazed by crowds and whatever other teams try to throw at them. They're 28-7 at home and 25-6 on the road. So basically, it's just a team that's about consistency.
Terrorized by a mascot. Terrorized. It's the little things, man. It's the little things.
Well, maybe keep the mascots away from him, and then maybe they have a chance. But
it's always the little things.
Yo,
bodyguard out there.
Is there a weakness in the Suns team? See what's the chink in their armor come playoffs?
The only weakness I could maybe say is that in terms of rebounding, they're pretty average. I think they're like, I could look. Hold on.
Chris Paul's dumb.
That's another weakness.
His injury.
That's their biggest injury.
Yeah, injury and rebounding for me. They're 15th in rebounds per game and 16th in terms of allowing their opponents to get rebounds. So they're not a great rebounding team, and I think that's something that you should. That's a bit of a concern.
When CP3 got COVID last year, I'm like, no way, like no way.
You just know something's always bound to happen with CP.
I kind of feel bad for Chris Paul at this point. Like, it's just always something.
It is.
Maybe he has some Kyrie Irving in him a little bit. Where
does everyone have the Suns finishing this year?
In the finals.
Finals.
Yeah, I got them in the finals for sure.
I got them in the conference finals. I don't see them beating the Warriors. And like I said, if they somehow miraculously face the and Chris Paul's hurt and AD's playing,
that's a lot of ifs, bro.
It's a lot of ifs.
I think the ball moves better without CP3 out there. That's why I just don't want to see Carmelo running around that fast. CP3 in the pick and roll, like it slows the game down. But those young guys out there, they're playing unselfishly. All right, Ron. Good luck.
If they don't have Chris Paul, I don't think they make it to the conference finals.
I think they still can beat the Lakers for sure.
Also, too, we haven't mentioned his name too much. Mikal Bridges. This is a dude that we have to give a lot of credit to from last year and this year. He's kind of like the Ed Reed of their defense. He like the free safety that really kind of does everything. You know, he plays the passing lanes. He guards the team's best player. He shot blocks at a great rate for somebody at his size. He's always running the floor. He makes open shots. He play makes a little better than people will give him credit for. He's really like the Swiss Army knife of the Phoenix Suns that kind of makes them go. And so, you know, we just got to give him his credit as well.
He's their Iguodala.
Yeah, facts.
For sure. He allows their defense. He's the reason their defense is so good in terms of what he can do in terms of versatility. I've seen him guard Steph, and then I've seen him just run around and chase guys off the ball.
Exactly.
He just does everything.
He was in Defensive Player of the Year talks for a second, but you know they're only gonna give that to a center, really. So
yeah, it's hard for a perimeter defender to get there, but he's definitely an All NBA defender.
He's top 5 for sure.
Does anyone have any final words to say about the Suns?
I honestly think I feel like they lose in Game 7 to the Bucks. It's gonna be sad. Gonna be sad. The Bucks are zapping any team in the East, and I'm willing to put anything on that. Quick zaps, 4-2s everywhere, 4-1s. Just never seen anything like it. It's gonna be real efficient.
Bucks and 6.
Why did that team just disappear? Yeah.
So everyone thinks it's a repeat Bucks Suns again.
Yeah, and a repeat outcome.
I got Bucks and Warriors.
And who'd you have winning that?
Bucks and 6.
Meant to say the Warriors.
Hey, Mars. First round, Bucks and 6. Second round, Bucks and 6. Third round, Bucks and 6. Hey, grab the West All-Stars. Put them against them in the finals. Bucks and 6. All right.
And Mitchell in the chat said Nets and 7. Man, I'm telling you right now, if I see any Nets in 7, you better hope it doesn't go to 7, because that means that Bucks are comfortable. I don't. All right.
I'll be shocked if the Nets make it to the second round.
At this rate, yeah, I feel you.
All right, let's get up out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know what other team breakdowns you guys want to see. We got a couple more scheduled that we're gonna do, but any other team breakdowns you want to see, let us know in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and we will see you. Are we doing the full show tomorrow, Shaq?
Next day. Full show is Sunday.
Full show Sunday. We'll see you then.